students, welcome back to Appleby Academy's classes. So in this video, we are going to discuss about pricing decision, which is an important topic that we are discussing under the module of marketing management. So for discussing this particular topic, firstly, we are actually going through the question which got asked for the latest exam, that is for September 29, shift 2 for commerce students. Okay, so in this question, you can see it's a question about arranging the steps related to pricing policy. Let's see the question. A company should undergo a stepwise process before selecting a final price. Accordingly, arrange the following steps of pricing policy process to help XYZ company to decide the final price of its product. So, for this question, you need to arrange the given steps in proper order, which is related to pricing of product of a company. Okay, so this is about, and you need to identify the correct answer from this question. So before going to the steps of pricing, we should know what do you mean by price. Okay, so we know that when you are discussing about marketing mix, one of the important tool which we are considering in marketing mix is this price. Okay, because the price is something which is giving value to that particular product, right? So we know that it is very sensitive, or price has such an important role in playing sale of a particular commodity. As we know that as a consumer, we always consider the price of that particular product. We will consider about the quality of its product, we will consider about its features and all about that, but still we will give importance to the price of that particular product. So it is very important for a company that they should be they should make an accurate pricing for that particular product. Like it should not be overpriced or underpriced, and with that price they should be able to create enough profit also. So this particular step is very when you're considering about the other steps, this is also one of the most difficult and very important decision of a company. Okay, so the amount of money that your customers have to pay in exchange for your product or service, determining right price for your product can be a bit tricky. Okay, so you should arrive at a price which is favorable to your organization, and it should be also favorable for the customers. If they found that it is unfavorable, they're not going to purchase this. So price is such a tricky way, or you need to, when you're considering about that particular decision, which is much more difficult. Okay, so it's a common strategy for beginning small businesses creating a bargaining price impression by pricing their product lower than competitors. So we know that there are different types of pricing policies or pricing strategies. Like a way for new product, we will generally say about skimming price, penetration pricing and all. Okay, so there are different objectives related to each of these pricing. So, so we need to identify which pricing policy can be adopted. That is always depending upon the factors which is within the organization, and also there are an important factors which is going to affect the price which is external for the organization also. Okay, so this price is something which is giving a growth or say increasing the sales of that particular product of that company. If the price is overpriced, or it is found that overpriced by the customers, what will happen? The sales will go down. Otherwise, if it's found favorable for them, this is going to give a boost for the sales. So, like a way that price is a very important decision which should be taken by the company appropriately. Okay, so price is the only P in the 4 P's of marketing that actually generates profit for you. Okay, so when you're considering about the remaining piece, product, we know that for creating this product, for to have research, to have test marketing, for all these things, we are actually investing a huge cost for developing that product, right? Then when you're coming to discuss about promotion, we know that for promotion we need to spend large amount, and like a way when you're considering place also, it's about distribution, there also you need to spend. So the remaining all piece is giving you cost, but this is the only P, price is the only P which is giving you benefit. Okay, so that is a very important point. And now we are coming to the main topic. It is about the steps which we are including in pricing a particular product. So generally we are actually considering 6 steps. The first step is selecting pricing objective, then determining the demand, estimating cost, analyzing competitors' offer, cost and prices, selecting pricing method, and finally we will select the final price. So now we will go through each of step in detail. So the first one is selecting the pricing objective. So for every organization, when they are setting the price, they will have an objective. Okay, maybe maybe for them it is just like for survival they need something, okay, for surviving their product in the market or for surviving their company, they need this much amount as a price for this particular product. So maybe they are not giving that much focus to profit, or there are certain company which is giving importance to profit. So it can be depending on the needs of that particular company. It is not a specific one. It can be varied, related to each and every company or each of every product. Okay, so they can include a multiple pricing objective like survival, quality of the product. Like maybe they are giving like when you're just considering about its price, maybe they are just concentrated in giving lower priced goods, lower price quality goods. Okay, maybe they are just giving focus to survival, or they may be giving more focus to profit. Like a way that their objective can be different. So first of all, they should know by putting a price what is their objective or what they want to achieve by just ascertaining a price for this particular product. That's the first one. They should have an objective. Without objective, we can't plan, right? So like a way, when you're just discussing about planning also, we'll say that first it is about setting an objective, right? So the first one is you should have an objective which is related to pricing of that particular company. That itself is the first step. Now you need to estimate the demand for this particular product. So when you're just going to establish, or when you're just going to bring your product to the market, what about the demand? You need to analyze the demand for this particular product in the market. Okay, so helps in identifying the factors that affect the demand of the product. Some of the important factors can be the prices of product, environmental factors, income, expectation of consumers, etc. So when you're just considering about demand, we know that demand is influenced by a number of factors, right? It is actually depending upon the price of the product. Like we know that when you are discussing about law of demand, we know that there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. That means when the price decline, quantity demanded will increase. So price is a very important factor which you need to consider when it is about the demand for that particular product. Then income of consumer, yes, we are just buying products based on our income, right? So the income is a very important aspect you need to consider. Then the taste and preference of consumer, all these are important factors that is going to affect the demand of a particular product. So you need to analyze about each and every factor. So here you need to find the price sensitivity of that product, whether this particular product is price sensitive or not, or then you should identify about a demand curve. You can draw demand curve based upon finding the having a demand analysis. Then elasticity, price elasticity of demand. What do you mean by price elasticity of demand? It's purely economics, since we should know what is price elasticity when you are just going through this topic. Price elasticity means it is a percentage change in quantity demanded due to change in price. That means if 1% increase got for the price, what about how much percentage is going to decline in case of demand? Like a way that you need to identify the elasticity of demand. Okay, so these all are the things which you need to consider when you're just estimating about demand. This is the second step. Now you're just going to identify the cost. So we know that our concern should have, or our concern will have a number of costs we are producing as we want to sell this product to the market. So we need to consider our fixed cost, variable cost, all these costs should be considered while you're just going to fix the price for a particular product. It is important that you should know about the cost which got incurred by this particular product, right? So at least with your price you should be able to cover the cost. So you need to analyze complete cost which is related to your product. So to achieve this, a company needs to establish a production level at which it will be able to maintain its fixed cost and a variable cost. So when you are just discussing about the production, so we should be able to create a production efficiency like a way that it should minimize your fixed cost or variable cost which is related to its production. Okay, so you should be able to make proper utilization of your resources. Fine. And now we need to analyze about your competitor. Okay, so before pricing, it is important that you should know about your competitor, okay, about their cost of production, or for how much or what about the price of their product. Okay, so it is important that when you are just going to introduce your product at a particular price, you need to consider, or you need to make an evaluation with your competitor's product, right? So the pricing strategy of competitors affect the demand of the product and leads to loss. So if you found that your marketer is giving that particular product at a lower cost and you're just going to give the same for your customers in a high price, what will happen? You're just going to lose. So it is important that you should consider about the price, the cost, and the offers. Even they may just give some offers for their customers. So you need to identify about all these before you are just going to before you are just going to ascertain the price for your product. Okay, and now it is about you need to select the pricing method. Okay, there are different methods. It is depending upon the concerned firms. They can just go for any method. So it can be cost oriented method. That means they are just giving focus to cost of that particular product. Then competitors, if they are giving more focus on competitors price, you can call it as competitors price oriented pricing. And if you're just focusing on the demand of the customer, then it is just like customer demand pricing. So it can be anything. Okay, it can be any of the following. That is depending upon that particular company. Anyway, these all are the pricing method which is generally used by the company, and it can be varied upon each of these companies as they are producing different products, or it is basing upon the life of that particular company, where it is, okay, like whether it is in a growth stage or in a maturity stage, like a way that a number of factors is going to affect while they are going to choose about these pricing method. Okay, and finally they will just select the final price. Now they will arrive at the final price after considering all these factors. Based on all that, they are going to make a final price. But before getting this final price, they will again conduct some research. Okay, based on that only they will going to select their final price. But before setting this price, it is important that all the elements which we considered in the steps is important to be considered before arriving at this final price. Okay, so now we are just coming back to the question. So we just asked for December 2021, June 2022 merge cycle, on September 29th shift 2 for commerce students. A company should undergo a stepwise process before selecting final price. Accordingly, arrange the following steps of pricing policy process to help XYZ company to decide the final price of its product. So let's start with the first option, selecting the price method, examining competitors' cost, price, offers, estimating the demand curve and probable quantities the company will sell at each possible prices, selecting the pricing objective of company, estimating cost for different levels of output, for different levels of accumulated production, experience, and for differentiated marketing offer. So when you are just considering about the steps which we are considering, we know that first it is about setting objective, right? So it can be selecting the pricing objective of the company. So it should start with option D. So now you can just go through the option and you can check that whether there is any option which is starting with D. Sometimes it can be there will be only one option which start with D. So there itself you can go for the right answer. There is no need to go into much detail about all these things. From the first impression itself, you can just go to the right answer. Okay, anyway, by identifying a particular step, you will be able to eliminate some option. That is definite one. Okay, so anyway, it should start with option D, pricing objective. Okay, we know that that's a first step. And what about the second step? I will just come back to our steps. Okay, what about the second step? It is about determining demand. Okay, so now we'll check whether there is any step which is related to determining demand. Okay, let's see that estimating the demand curve and probable quantities that company will sell at each possible price. So here we are just considering the demand only. So after D, we can just go through the second option, that is, here we'll go through the option C. So D, C. Okay, so demand, after that what we are considering, it is about cost, right? So now we are going to consider cost. So estimating cost for different levels of output, for different levels of accumulated production experience, and for differentiated marketing offering. So D, C, E. Fine. And now again we have two more steps. Selecting the price method, examining competitors' cost, price and offers. Now after considering the cost, you need to go through the competitors' cost, price and offers. Fine. So after C, it is about B, and finally selecting the pricing method. So one option is actually missing here, or one step is not actually given in this question. It is just like selecting the final price. Rest of all the other steps is given here. So you can go like D, then C, E, B, A. Correct? So let's see, the correct answer is option B, D, C, E, B, A. So from the first step itself, we know that we will start with option D, right? So there you can actually eliminate two options, option C and D. Now you will just go through option A and B. Either of this can be correct. And if you're just selecting the second step itself, you will just come at the, you can just arrive at the correct answer. Right? So when you're just going through the process, like we know that for the coming exams, or for in being this time, the NTA is asking more questions which is related to arrange steps, which is related to some process, match the following, and giving combination of statements. You need to identify a combination of statement whether they are correct or wrong, something like that. So here, when you're just considering the options itself, it will give you some idea, okay, that to eliminate some option and to derive with some option, it is just giving you some options. So that is very important. When you're just going through the question, it is also important that when you're just considering, when it is related to steps or match the following question, again you need to consider the options, okay, and then only you should arrive at the correct answer. Okay, so in this video we discussed an important question from pricing method. This is a very important area. Okay, next time they will just ask about the different types of price, like the way that. So I hope this video will help you for your preparation. Thank you and happy learning.